I should be able to figure it out, no problem. What, when would, if, I mean, it doesn't sound like we're using the word or anything.
What's happening?
Like, yeah, it's all, that's, yeah, I don't get it. Sorry about that. Yeah, I'm running my, I don't have
You've been able to do it pretty well. Hey, Lou.
Yeah, that would be good to know for what Yeah, we should be good. Look at the what? The food is meant for afterwards. If you look at it.
Walking in, so I'm just sort of waiting for that person to come in. In the meantime, let's just kind of center ourselves. It's been kind of a crazy time, I think. And a lot of new beginnings. Such a beautiful singing bowl. I love to hear it sing. So good morning and welcome. So please stand to embody your spirit as we sing our gathering hymn, number 361.
188.
Oh, it's 188? Okay. Yeah, you're right, thank you. 188, thank you. Thank you, Aviva.
Whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving, ours is no caravan of despair. Come, yet again, come. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving, ours is no caravan of leaving, ours is no caravan of despair. Come, yet again, wherever you are, come, worship whoever you're waiting. Ours is no caravan of leaving, ours is no caravan of despair. Come, yet again, come.
That's beautiful. I love to hear us singing together. So welcome to the Unitarian Universalist congregation of Hillsborough. Good to see you kids here and all your faces on a Labor Day weekend. We are an open and welcoming congregation. Whoever you are, a member, or a friend, or a guest, we are glad that you are here today. And I'd like to thank everyone who's made this worship celebration possible. Definitely a labor of love and dedication. To thank Aviva Enoch, our wonderful music director, and AC Arrington, who always hands out our order service, and our wonderful volunteers who make UUCH run and hum. So I appreciate all that everyone does. My name is Linda Silliman, and I'm the worship associate today. And we also welcome our speaker, Pal Palmore, a dear UUCH friend. And he is quite the guy. He has a PhD in sociology from Columbia University, and he's been studying and teaching the subject of aging ever since. He's published 18 books and over 100 articles. Despite being 91, are you still 91? Are you 91 or are you 92? It doesn't matter.
Only a number.
This is just a number, yeah. He enjoys walking his dog, singing, riding his bike, motor scooter, and bowling. He is a humanist celebrant and is available to conduct weddings and funerals. Today he's going to share his reflections on the meaning of life. So we will ponder together deep questions such as, why are we here? What is the ultimate purpose of life on the earth? That's something I think we think about periodically throughout our lives. But before we create our sacred space and begin worship, let's take a moment to share any announcements. Does anybody have any announcements today? Great.
So on behalf of the worship team, next week is going to be our in-gathering water ceremony, so be sure to bring any water that you might have collected on your journeys, or take some tap water, symbolic. And also, those of us who are singing for the service next week are going to meet briefly for about half an hour. We'll take a 10-minute break after the service, and we're going to meet briefly in here to go over the songs, and then we'll go over them again next Sunday morning. Thank you.
If you have been reading the e-news, you'll know that two young ladies named Emily and Emily, I can't remember, sorry, Heather and Heather, not Emily and Emily. No, I think it's Emily and Emily. I think I might have put it in there wrong. I have a lot going on. It's Emily. It's Emily and Emily I have met with them 2 or 3 times. It looks like they are definitely, they've gotten some questions answered, and they are definitely interested in moving forward with exploring the possibility of opening a daycare here, which is going to implicate all of us, right? Because the RE space, the buildings and grounds, finance, the whole thing. And so we would like to give all of you the opportunity to meet them. It's definitely Emily and me, now that I think of it. On the 14th of September, they're both currently working full-time jobs, and so that's the best time for them to meet. That's also the night of the Governance Council meeting. So they'll be here at 5:30 for anybody who wants to meet with them. It's very informal. There's no agenda. It's simply a question and answer to get to know them, and then we'll figure out how to go from there.
Hi everyone, my name's Lou Goodall. I'm your listening ear for today. So if anybody has anything on their mind that they'd like to just talk about, I'll be waiting outside after the service. Thanks.
Okay, so if there are no more announcements, let's go into worship mode. Make sure you take your phones and put them on Be Quiet, please. And we'll be having coffee afterwards. And for everybody's safety and protection, please keep our masks on. We are a community of liberal, open-minded people who strive to connect with one another in love. And so, as such, we are not defined by creed, we're defined by covenant. And that means that we've committed to a way of being with one another rather than to a statement of belief. To that end, we support each other in spiritual growth and deepening of faith. We challenge one another to find more love both inside ourselves and in the world. And today we welcome you with open arms to our house of worship. So now let us create sacred space for shared worship by lighting our chalice. Yeah. Oh my God. Thank you, Mary. Do you need any help, or are you good? Okay. Reading here, Belonging for our Whole Selves by Reverend Scott Taylor. May the flame we now kindle light the path back to our center, back to the place of belonging, to what is true, what is deepest within, what knows us even before we know ourselves. And may our chalice remind us that we are held and welcomed, whole, without the need to hide a single piece or part of who we are. And this is a reading based on The Little Wave from Tuesdays with Maury by Mitch Albert. The story is about a little wave bobbing along in the ocean, having a grand old time. It's enjoying the wind and the fresh air till it notices the other waves in front of it crashing against the shore. Oh no, this is terrible, the wave says. Look what's going to happen to me. Then along comes another wave. It sees the first wave, looking grim, and says, why do you look so sad? The first wave says, you don't understand, we're all going to crash. All of us waves are going to be nothing. Isn't that terrible? The second wave says, no, You don't understand. You're not a wave. You're part of the ocean. So please let's stand in body or spirit as we sing our opening hymn. That's Magnificence by Peter Martino. And the lyrics are below under order service.
Wash me away, so that all that's left is love. Spirit, wash me away, so that all that's left is love. Wash me away, so that all that's left is love. Wash me away, so that all that's left is love. Wash me away, so that all that's left is love. Wash me away, so that all that's left is love. Keep going. There is so much evidence, so that all that's left is love. There is so much evidence, so that all that's left is love. There is so much evidence, so that all that's left is love. There is so much evidence, so that all that's left is love. Wash me away, so that all that's left is love.
Thank you. So nice to have our communities sing together. Ours is a welcoming community where we find connection, a sharing community where our joys are celebrated, and a caring community where our sorrows are lessened. Each Sunday we take time to reflect on special happenings that have occurred this week among our members and friends. Some choose to share aloud while others choose to remain silent. Here, we make room for both. For those of you who would like to share aloud, please take a moment before we begin to center yourself and collect your thoughts so that what you share this morning is personal, heartfelt, and brief. Please come forward, tell us your name, and share what is a stone into the vase in silence while Viva plays Spirited Away. We hold all these things within the heart of this community, both spoken and unspoken. By remaining silent for a moment, we'll consider what's been shared and how we might respond. May the community respond, Amen, and blessed be. Amen. Blessed be. Now, this is a story for all ages. It's called Rivers by Christopher Buse. Once upon a time, there were two rivers flowing side by side. Both rivers liked to argue who was the best. The water in my river is better than the water in your river, said one. No, the water in my river is better than the water in your river, said the other. The two rivers would flow along nicely all day, arguing about which river was the best. Both were quite sure they were the greatest. Doesn't my water make a joyful sound as it runs over the smooth, polished pebbles on the bottom? And look at the way the sun reflects off the ripples and eddies that form around the granite boulders at my edge. These things are so beautiful. Surely I'm the best river, said the first. The other river replied, but look at all the fish that swim in my clear, cool water. And have you heard the frogs singing at night? They live in the reeds and lilies that grow at my banks. I'm home to so many wonderful creatures. Surely, I must be the very best river. The two continued to argue until one day something strange and unexpected happened. The rivers rounded a bend, slid down a small falls, and suddenly saw that they were flowing together in something much greater and bigger than themselves. Up ahead, there were big crashing waves and water everywhere, for as far as the eye could see. They continued to rush faster and faster until the water from both rivers churned together into the vast and enormous ocean. Then a sound came from the sky. It came from a cloud that chuckled for a moment. And then said, "Now, you see how foolish you have been arguing about who is the best. There is no highest or lowest. There is no greatest or least. All things are one, and all are joined together like rivers in the sea." And now we get to have Pal Moore talking to us about the meaning of life.
What is the meaning of life? Why are we here? This profound question has had many serious answers, and some humorous answers. For example, I remember seeing a T-shirt at SUSI, which is our summer Unitarian Institute, and the T-shirt said, "The meaning of life is to find the meaning of life." And that may be a good enough answer for some people. My father who was a minister, used to tell the story about the minister who was taking his turn preaching his sermons at the local mental institution. And his topic was, "Why are we all here?" And so he started off by challenging his audience. He said, "Why are we all here?" And there was no answer. So he went on with his sermon, and he tried again and said, "Why are we all here?" Still no answer. So he went on with his sermon. And the third time he said, "Why are we all here?" And a little man in the back stood up and said, "Because we're not all there." Now, before we go much further, I think we need to agree on the meaning of meaning. I assume that meaning in this context means purpose. So we can translate the question into what is the purpose of life. The traditional Christian answer is the chief end of man is to glorify God and to enjoy Him forever. Notice it doesn't say what the chief end of women would be. But anyway, since I'm a humanist, such an answer is not very meaningful to me. And since humanists do not believe in a God or other supernatural beings, I can think of many more satisfying answers for Unitarians and Universalists. The artist might say the purpose of life is to create beauty. The scientists and philosophers say to seek truth. And maybe the truth is I'll take off my mask. Since I have carefully tested myself and come up negative, which is a strange thing. In medicine, negative is good.
Negative is pleasant. Good to see you.
Anyway, the athlete might say that the purpose of life is to make stronger and faster bodies. The physician might say the purpose of life is to heal the sick And the farmer might say the purpose of life is to feed the hungry, and so forth and so on. And each profession would give a different answer. Similarly, each religion gives a somewhat different answer. The Buddhists would probably say the purpose of life is to relieve suffering and achieve nirvana. The Hindu might say to escape from reincarnation. And the Christian might say to go to heaven and avoid hell. A common answer that seems to satisfy many people is the purpose of life is to leave the world a better place for having been here. I agree with that, but I would only ask, what is the better world look like? What is better? It seems to me that all these answers are at best only partial answers. They do not get at the ultimate answer. The question remains, why do we try to do all these things? In other words, what is the ultimate goal? What is the ultimate good? What is the summum bonum in Latin? Aristotle stated that happiness is the only human goal that is sought for its own sake, in contrast to wealth, health, or honor, which are sought mainly because they are believed to bring happiness. Similarly, George Santayana said, happiness is the only sanction of life. Where happiness fails, existence remains a mad and lamentable experiment. I agree with Aristotle and Santayana. The ultimate good for UUs, especially for humanists, is happiness, or some variant of happiness, such as joy, virtue, self-actualization, fulfillment, contentment, comfort, pleasure. A basic principle of humanism and Unitarians is the belief in enjoying the here and now. In fact, I have created an aphorism which, for me, satisfies and expresses this belief. The purpose of life is to reduce suffering and to increase joy for you and for me. Now, there's important 4 parts to that: to reduce suffering, increasing joy, and for you, others, and for me. If you leave out the others, then it becomes simply a very selfish, narcissistic kind of answer. And if you leave out reducing suffering, you may leave a lot of suffering, even though you yourself are enjoying happiness. So, I believe that is the ultimate meaning of life. However, when I told my friends about this belief, they've raised several objections. One friend says, joy is too strong a word. Joy is hard to create and achieve. So maybe satisfaction or contentment would be a more realistic goal for most people. My brother, Peyton Lee Palmore, who was a minister, maintained that it's useless to try to grasp happiness directly, because it will always escape your attempt to grasp it directly. He even wrote a villanelle, which is a particular poetic form, which I don't completely understand, but his villanelle went this way. The joy of life, which gleams anew each day, sunbeam of hope, fresh washed and sparkling clean, will dance along and not come back this way. Elusive spirit who seldom will obey, determined quest to come, to dance supreme, the joy of life which gleams anew today, will never sing her lay upon request, but rises source unseen to dance along, but not come back this way. Grasp not at dancing sunbeams in your play, nor squeeze the hours in efforts to make seen the joy of life which throbs anew each day. Free floating joy, like motes upon a ray, elude the grip of one who grasps and seems to dance along and not come back this way. So eat the bread of life which makes this clay imbued with love of neighbor on the scene, else the joy of life which gleams anew each day will dance along but not come back this way. Aldous Huxley agrees with my brother. He said, happiness is like Coke, something you get as a byproduct in the process of making something else. And he wasn't referring to cocaine, obviously. Another objection to the assertion that happiness is the ultimate good comes from those who say this is mere hedonism, pleasure for pleasure's sake. They say that happiness is too selfish and not noble enough to be the ultimate goal. However, if you remember the second part of the aphorism, to create joy in yourself and in others, then it does not seem so selfish and base. What can be more noble than to create joy in others? So whether we can agree that happiness is the ultimate goal or byproduct, it is clearly one of the most important goals of most humans, and especially most Unitarians. So how can we achieve happiness? Like the old saying goes, there are many paths to heaven, there are many paths to happiness. Many books and much research have been devoted to studying and arguing about what leads to happiness. There's even an entire field of psychology called positive psychology. But there's often much agreement about what leads to happiness still. One of my father's favorite Latin maxims was de gustibus non disputandus, which means there's no disputing taste. Another more recent maxim is different strokes for different folks. So I don't want to argue about personal preferences, but I believe the following factors are important for most people to achieve and maintain happiness. First and most important is health. This is perhaps the most important that shows up in all the surveys and studies that have been done. It's almost impossible to maintain happiness if one is miserable with severe illness. This fact leads to the next question: how can one maintain health? And the answers to that question are fairly well known. Maintain a balanced diet, high in fiber and low in calories. Get some exercise every day, including stretching and strength training. I like to do weightlifting, walking. Get regular medical care, including checkups. Get plenty of sleep. I like to get 9 hours at night, plus short naps after meals. Avoid harmful products like tobacco, street drugs, or excessive alcohol. So those are probably the main factors well known related to health. The second important factor in addition to health is economic security. This may be equally important as health because poverty can ruin your health and make you miserable in the process. On the other hand, wealth does not guarantee happiness. As Ken Hubbard said, it's pretty hard to tell what brings happiness. Poverty and wealth have both failed. Studies have shown that people with a minimum amount of economic security tend to be happier than those in poverty, but also that rich people are not happier than middle-class people. So don't feel bad if you're not rich, because you can be just as happy as anyone. Achievements. Another factor related to happiness is achievements. I don't know about other UUs, but one of the things that makes me most happy is achieving some goal, such as losing some excess weight, having an article published, or I used to publish books. Another achievement that I try to achieve every morning is doing 40 push-ups and 10 curls with weights. Another factor related to happiness is purpose. Without a guiding set of purposes in life, one would be like a ship without a rudder. If you don't know where you want to go, you'll probably get there. Of course, the best purposes are healthy, creative, satisfying, helpful, and attempt to make the world a better place. Now, my friends say this should be a two-step process. First step, you should analyze your own skills, abilities, emotional fitness, environmental opportunities, and so forth. Then you define for yourself how your unique profile can have the most positive impact. Working for that purpose becomes the meaning of your life. A fifth factor is good relationships, and that relates to the theme of this month, which is belonging. Another thing that makes me happy is enjoying good relationships with my friends, my family, and this Unitarian congregation. Many studies, including those at Duke, the longitudinal study of which I worked with for a couple of decades, these studies have found that good relationships, or belonging, tend to be happier and live longer than those without. Finally, positive attitudes. Logan Pearsall Smith has written, there are two things to aim for in life. First, to get what you want, and after that, to enjoy it. I've seen a quotation that I like. Success is getting what you want. Happiness is wanting what you got. Some people seem to have all the blessings of life, health, wealth, achievements, and relationships, but still think negatively. For some strange reason, they are grumpy, bitter, cynical, In a word, unhappy. So the bottom line is to be happy, learn to enjoy what you have, to think positively about your situation, and be grateful for what you have. We used to sing a song in our family and in Sunday school. Count your many blessings, count them one by one, and you will see what the Lord has done. Well, I don't believe the Lord part anymore, but I do believe that it's good to count your many blessings, count them one by one. Remember what Abraham Lincoln said, most folks are as happy as they make up their minds to be. We UUs can make up our minds to be as happy as we want to be, without fear of punishment in an afterlife, and without a vain hope of supernatural intervention in this life to make them happy. Amen, and blessed be.
Blessed be.
Thank you, pal. Wise words as always. So each week we take a monetary offering to support our social justice in the world and in this community. So this support comes in the form of donations, and this month our community partner is New Hope Elementary. That's so appropriate, being that school's just gotten back in, and that's our local school that we try to help out. So you may donate by putting cash or a check in the basket. If you write a check, please put in plate in the subject line. You can also donate via our website. Thank you.
As I went down in the river to pray, studying about that good old way, and who shall wear the robe and crown? Good Lord, show me the way. Oh, mothers, let's go down, don't you wanna go down? Come on, mothers, let's go down in the river to pray. As I went down in the river to pray, studying about that good old way, and who shall wear the robe and crown? Good Lord, show me the way. Oh, fathers, let's go down, don't you wanna go down? Come on, fathers, let's go down in the river to pray. As I went down in the river to pray, studying about that good old way, and who shall wear the starry crown? Good Lord, show me the way. Oh, sisters, let's go down, don't you wanna go down? Come on, sisters, let's go down in the river to pray. As I went down in the river to pray, studying about that good old way, and who shall wear the robe and crown? Good Lord, show me the way. Oh, brothers, let's go down, don't you wanna go down? Come on, brothers, let's go down in the river to pray.
Thank you. That was lovely. That's Allison and Susan Roth, in case you didn't know. Please join me in our prayer of collective gratitude in your word of service. For the love that surrounds us every morning, for the friends beside us, and for the generous gifts just received. Let us be truly grateful. And now we go to our closing hymn. So closing hymn 1052 and our teal. Oneness of everything. You Are in the Story of the World by Ian Huntington Bear. You are in the story of the world. You are the world, coming to know itself May you trust that all you will ever say or do belongs in the story of the world. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, nor the spirit. Together again. Right, I have both versions here. Thank you very much for being here today as Love